I have spent the last 15 years of my life learning the law, not the actual written law, but the procedures, right? And in me learning the procedures of the law, I revealed that the judge was actually violating the law, about 60 judges. Now, see, all of a sudden, people want to tell me about the law. And I'm saying that's admirable, man. I'm so glad you learning the law. But do you know that the judge is not going to hear your case because you know the law? So that's why I wouldn't leave the judge in a position of judgment. Because why would you keep doing what's right and the judge keep throwing it out and you're not going to eventually get upset? Right? So now this is what I'm trying to tell people about when they talk about mental health. Well, if you building up a case against me, right, and you can keep putting me in a mental hospital, right? So now that's evidence because that's two sides, right? Now, if I'm in court, right, and you as the judge keep putting me in a mental hospital, then how is that not a conspiracy, right? That's not a conspiracy theory. A conspiracy theory is when you have no evidence to support what you're saying. And in the court of law, they call that hearsay. So that is why when the judges in my first case that I had a lawyer, a paid attorney in, Don Morrison was my attorney. I paid him $1,000 cash for the Bill Hurd case. I paid him $1,000 cash for the SunTrust case. So from day one, he was paid. He told me to give him $1,000. He would fix it. I didn't have to give him payments or nothing. You see what I'm saying? Now, when he did not do what his expertise said that he had legal expertise in, then I had to show my divine wisdom. You see what I'm saying? Now, then I had to teach myself the law. Now, if you bothering with me, right? And I'm not thinking that I'm thinking that you the devil. See, because I'm saying this is what Jesus said about Peter, which was from Nazareth. See, so that means Peter and Jesus stayed around each other. See what I'm saying? So if Peter was Jesus' friend, you think he wouldn't be jealous of all of the notoriety that Jesus getting? If you jealous of normal people now, right? So if you seen somebody as great as Jesus, you his friend, how can you live up to him? So now when you see Jesus struggling, that's your opportunity now to separate your story from the story of Jesus. That's what Reverend Robert Abernathy did with Dr. Martin Luther King, where he wrote his memoirs, right? But his memoirs wouldn't have been nothing unless he was dropping dirt on Dr. Martin Luther King's name, right? And it's like, well, hey, man, you was doing that time period. Why you not talking about you? Like, but you had to make some so somebody could read. They wouldn't read it about Reverend Robert Abernathy, but they would read about it about dirt on Dr. Martin Luther King. So it's still not about you, it's about Dr. Martin Luther King. But even the FBI told us about Dr. Martin Luther King's extramarital affairs, right? But what I'm saying is Jesus said, even if you don't believe in me, believe in the works. So right there, Jesus had freed Dr. Martin Luther King for his fleshly weaknesses, but look at his divine purpose, right? So if you saying that Jesus was born to die for your sins, then you saying that the purpose of Jesus' birth was to die. See, but what about when he fed the fish to the hungry? What about when he brought Lazarus back from the dead? You saying Jesus wasn't born to pull off those miracles, but once he pulled off those miracles, the false prophets, which was the Pharisees, the chief priests, the high priest, the scribes, and the elders, led by the high priest Caiaphas, said that now that one man shall die, not for this place and nation. How? This is the scriptures. This is case law saying that your religious leader put a hit out on your Lord and Savior, Jesus of Nazareth of Galilee, and he paid Judas to be the hit man. So just like somebody paid somebody to kill Minister Malcolm X in that ballroom in New York City, see, it's the same entity, right? It's a religious set that paid somebody for a religious murder. Dr. Martin Luther King, same thing. A religious man doing his purpose, right? And somebody killed them. So somebody in the principality, right, in America, enraged an assassin. Now, we don't know if this man who said he did it, he say he didn't do it, but we saying somebody called the shot. See what I'm saying? Now we have to deal with the aftermath, the murder. Now we ask, what would Dr. Martin Luther King do? Just like Christians ask, what would Jesus do? Muslims who was under the tutelage of Minister Malcolm X wonder, what would Minister Malcolm X do? Just like Christians wonder, what would Jesus do? So that's why when I was in court, I then showed everybody what to do. It's in court. But now your religious leaders, the people who led you into this day of judgment, now wants to try to say that I'm incompetent because of their incompetency.